So welcome back to Into the Infinityverse, where I talk about certain behind-the-scenes things in the Infinityverse, the shared fanfiction universe I write with my good friend Jason Voorhees 2011. And today I'm going to be talking about something that a lot of people, I think, have been kind of waiting for me to do an Into the Infinityverse about. And yeah, there's been some new stuff that we've put in, so I guess I can talk about a little more stuff. And yeah, I'm going to be talking about the Gravity Falls aspect of the Infinityverse. So let's get to this out of the way. Where in the Gravity Falls timeline is this? This is after the show. In fact, it's a little while after the show. Dipper, Mabel, and everyone else are a little older now. They're a little older and have been they actually got accepted into the Infinity League shortly after the league was formed. Like, they were among the first few recruits because, yeah, you don't do something like Weirdmageddon and it doesn't get noticed by everybody else. So, yeah. So in here, let's talk about some stuff. And some of you guys already know some of the stuff if you've been reading the stories, but yeah. So let's talk about what's going on with Dipper. So Dipper, we're mostly calling him Mason because he's a little older, but what's going on with Mason is that he's very distrustful of the League. He's actually, like, at first, he was doing something called he was basically a quote-unquote villain called the Red Talon, who was obviously an homage to Red X. And in the story, in the spotlight that showcased him as Red Talon, he was going around collecting weaknesses for certain heroes to use as, like, countermeasures against heroes. Now, you're probably wondering, well, he's not that kind of well-trained. Well, actually, in the Infinityverse, he and Mabel are actually getting hand-to-hand combat training from April O'Neil. And they're also getting training from former Power Rangers Jason and Zach. Yeah, so yeah, they're actually getting hand-to-hand combat training from April and 2 Power Rangers. So, yeah, keep that in mind. But now, they're not like super-duper jujitsu masters. They know enough to hold their own, but they're not official League members yet. They're not like, April has to okay them for field duty, so they're more or less cadets at this point. But Dipper always feels, of course, Dipper's inadequacies start off like, I can be out in the field, we beat Bill without any fucking training, so why can't we go out and do this? So, Dipper already feels some inadequacies, but he's also known that the League itself aren't really prepared for certain countermeasures because he's seen some of these superheroes get mind-controlled or get hit with their own weaknesses. So when he took on the identity of Red Talon, he basically was trying to initially either A, keep these weaknesses out of the villain's hands, actual villain's hands, or B, in case of, a hero going rogue or being mind-controlled, he would pull like a Tower of Babel thing and unleash all these countermeasures on these heroes. So he's kind of like a Batman meets Ant-Man kind of scenario. But he's not going to be a good guy. If you know how Dipper is portrayed in some of my stories, you kind of already know what kind of allegiance he's going to have. Anyway, but Dipper is trying to start. The road to hell is always paved with good intentions. So Dipper at first is basically like, look, if I don't collect all these things, some villain's going to get a hold of them, and it's going to be utter hell. So Mabel keeps it under wraps because it's, of course, secret, and only at the time, Mabel was told by Stan, and Stan and McGucket were helping Dipper collect everything he needed. So Wendy eventually did find out, and she is a member of the League as well, as is Ford. The only ones in the main Gravity Falls cast who are not members of the League are Seuss and Stan. Stan wanted nothing to do with it, and, well, Seuss, he's a member of the League, but not like a superhero team member. He's more of the team's handyman. He is basically, he really wanted to go back to being a humble handyman. He still runs the Mystery Shack, but, like, at the same time, he's like, I just want to go back up. I want to go and fix space stuff. Yay. So that's what Seuss is. He's kind of like the chief handyman for any kind of mess caused on Skyward Tower, which is the orbital base that the Infinity League lives on. So So yeah, Seuss isn't an official member. He's more of the staff, really. He's more of the staff for the Infinity League. We also have Stan is really the only one who never took the deal because Stan didn't want to be there and no one wanted him there. So Stan was helping Dipper collect all of those items, but eventually he let his guilt get the better of him, and he called Mabel. Mabel found out and told him, "Keep doing this, and I'm going to tell the League who you really are, and they're going to throw your ass in jail, and that'll be the end of it." Now, Wendy does find out through information from her mother. That's right, in the Infinity Verse, we actually reveal a version, in this universe at least, Wendy's mother is someone who we've talked about, but yeah, so in the Infinity Verse, the Baroness from G.I. Joe is Wendy's mother. Yeah, let that sink in for a second. So yeah, the Baroness is Wendy's mother in here, and she actually leaked the information she actually leaked some information about the Red Talon, and Wendy put 2 and 2 together. Was like, oh my god, that's my boyfriend. Yeah, Dipper and Wendy are together in here, and they're gonna stay together. I should have mentioned that in the shipping video, but yeah, they're staying together. Don't worry, Mabel's going to find somebody. Don't worry, I'm not gonna leave Mabel hanging. So, as it stands, Dipper's gone back to being the Red Talon because what is going on is that Wendy is benched from the Infinity League along with several other heroes because she's been getting visions of the Phoenix Force, which is coming to Earth and is going to choose someone to be its host. And Wendy is among the prime candidates for it, and it was terrorizing her mind with it. So Wendy was forced off along with several other members, and now she feels like betrayed and all that by the League because they were just like, bye. They didn't want to deal with it because they thought it was like, maybe it was work-related stress, or maybe it's a plot by Black Hat and the Society of Supervillains. Maybe it's one of those things. But yeah. So, I should mention that Wendy, at this point, doesn't know that the Baroness is really her mother. Baroness knows that's her daughter, and is doing everything in her power to keep her kid alive. And hide her, more or less, no one knows yet at Cobra that Baroness had a daughter, let alone other kids with somebody else. Destro's gonna lose his shit, I assure you. So you can probably guess whose crosshairs Wendy's going to be having for a while. But anyway, so yeah, Dipper, in order to find a way to help Wendy, he goes, well, the Infinity League clearly doesn't care about my girlfriend or any of these other guys, so I'm going to take matters in my own hand. So he becomes the Red Talon again, and is basically going around smashing shit, and it's to get Black Hat's attention, and trust me, he got it. So, yeah. Another thing I forgot to mention, and I apologize, but the other thing I forgot to mention about what's going on with Dipper and Mabel is that they're getting a little help in their training. Professor Utonium in this universe created a thing called Chemical V, which was meant to be like a super soldier serum, but it only worked on a certain blood type. And thankfully, Dipper and Mabel have the blood type that allows them to take the drugs without much side effects. So, yeah. I said not a lot of side effects. But anyway, so yeah, Dipper and Mabel now have enhanced strength, speed, and agility, but not like to an overly superhuman level. It's more like, it's like almost like a little above athletic levels, like stuff like that. Anyway, so yeah, as it stands, Dipper right now is secretly working with Black Hat, along with Wendy, who is also taken... she already was on the field, keep that in mind. She and Ford had clearance, although Ford doesn't really do a lot of field work. He's more like, I sit in the lab, or... he's also one of the team's medics, because he knows metahuman biology, so he's, he's capable of helping with, with healing some of the metahuman patients. And Wendy has enough personal training and whatnot to essentially be be a superheroine on her own right. So she goes out in the world in the code name of Lumberjane. But now that she's benched, she's taken on a new identity to help Dipper with trying to con help for her from the Society of Supervillains, the team Black Hat runs. And that new identity is the Headhuntress. And she's gonna live up to that title, I assure you. So, yeah. Now, going back to Mabel real quick, Mabel is really going to go through the ringer. I don't want to spoil much, but she is going to go through the fucking ringer in the coming stories, because we've got a lot planned, and poor Mabel's going to go through the ringer, and it's we're not going to kill her, but like it's going to be rough. But whatever doesn't kill you makes you strong. That which does not kill you makes you stronger. And speaking of the other characters, we killed off Thompson. If you guys remember that guy from Gravity Falls, he fell to a certain dream demon with some gloves. As for everyone else, nothing really planned much except Pacifica. Pacifica is going to have a bigger role. She's going to have a bigger role in here, and she is actually going to be getting some help. She's going to be getting an extra pair of hands assisting her very soon in a future story. I don't want to say who's going to be working with her soon, but he's a hell of a guy. I'll say that. He's a hell of a guy. And speaking of hell in the Northwests, don't be shocked if you find out that the Northwests made a deal with a certain demon. Don't be shocked. And if you're wondering, Bill's dead. Bill's still dead in the Infinityverse, so... yeah. So before anyone... I know I should have said this earlier, but yeah. Bill's dead. And, yeah, I've already talked about death and all that, of, like... sorry, something in my eye. How death is pretty much... it's... If any, there's not going to be a lot of resurrections, but when they do happen, no one's going to come back the same. It's not like in comic books where, oh, I'm back and I'm totally fine. I'm 100% who I was beforehand. No, this is more of a sometimes dead is better, and that goes for everyone those who get a resurrection. But yeah, much like how Marvel was back in the 60s and 70s, death is permanent. For a lot of characters. Now, like I said, there will be resurrections. Not a lot. But when they do happen, no one comes back the same. Like, no one's gonna... like, it's not gonna be like, oh, I'm fine. I came back and I'm 100% okay. No, it's like, I came back from the fucking dead. Holy shit! Or you're gonna be a little... yeah, obviously, when you get, when you come back from, finding out that heaven and hell are real, you're gonna be fucked up. After how long you were dead? Yeah. But don't expect a lot of resurrections in the Infinityverse. Anyway. So, what else was I gonna say? Stan's still Stan. But I will also say that in the, coming stories in the Gravity Falls line, yeah, there's going to be a bit of a shift in the main roster of Gravity Falls characters. It won't. I will say that it won't be the mystery team, the mystery twins forever. That's all I can really say about that. And Mabel, I will also say, is getting her own superhero. Much like Dipper, who's calling himself the Red Talon, Mabel will be getting her own superhero identity. Like I said, they're both a little older, they're both a little taller, so yeah. And of course, Mabel would enjoy wearing, tight spandex and running around beating people up. But anyway, so, yeah. There you go. I don't want to spoil everything about what we're doing with Gravity Falls. All I'll have to say is you might like it. You guys probably know from my fanfiction writing, from my fanfiction idea stories of where Dipper might be going, but you might not know how he gets there. That's the other thing. That's all I'm gonna say. Anyway, So there you go, guys. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what do you guys think of all the stuff for Infinity Verse in terms of Gravity Falls? Are you guys excited? Are you guys not? Just comment below, let me know. Once again, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the multiverse.